Good afternoon, Noetic listeners. This is Holly Holt. The poet I've chosen today is Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Before I start my analysis of her poem, allow me to shine a light on her background. From the Wikipedia site, we are given the following. She was born the youngest of four on a farm in Wisconsin in 1850 and started writing when she was very young, and she became well known in her state by the time she graduated high school. Despite some sorrow in her life, her poetry, much like her personality, remained optimistic. For example, the only child she had died shortly after birth, and her husband passed on 3 years before she did. Being that they were both spiritualists who promised each other to communicate should one die before the other, Ella was grief-stricken for a while, but overcame that as well through the power of an affirmative prayer that reads, "I am the living witness. The dead live, and they speak through us and to us. And I am the voice that gives this glorious truth to the suffering world. I am ready, God. I am ready, Christ. I am ready, Robert," who actually that was her husband's name. There are some questions I want you to consider today as I analyze this poem. What does it take to maintain, in the face of adversity and the hours of emptiness we often feel, a sense of hope for the future? What does it take to refrain from drama, from letting the world get to you? What does it take to stand up to the world, no matter what it throws at you, and declare, "I'm going to keep smiling, regardless of how you try to break me"? What does it take to remain positive when those around you insist on being negative? With those questions posed, let me read the poem I chose for today. A Song by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Is anyone sad in the world, I wonder? Does anyone weep on a day like this, with the sun above and the green earth under? Why, what is life but a dream of bliss? With the sun and the skies and the birds above me, birds that sing as they will and fly, with the winds to follow and say they love me, who could be lonely? Oh ho, not I. Somebody said in the street this morning, as I opened my window to let in the light, that the darkest day of the world was dawning, but I looked, and the east was a gorgeous sight. One who claims that he knows about it tells me the earth is a veil of sin, but I and the bees and the birds, we doubt it, and think it a world worth living in. Someone says that hearts are fickle, that love is sorrow, that life is care, and the reaper death with his shining sickle gathers whatever is bright and fair. I told the thrush, and we laughed together, laughed till the woods were all a ring, and he said to me, as he plumed each feather, "Well, people must croak if they cannot sing." Up he flew, but his song remaining rang like a bell in my heart all day, and silenced the voices of weak complaining that pipe like insects along the way. O world of light, and O world of beauty, where are there pleasures so sweet as thine? Yes, life is love, and love is duty. And what heart sorrows? Oh no, not mine. As you proceed through this poem, you really can't help but get swept up in the happiness, the hope of and that's all brought forth from the rhyming scheme. I enjoy how this poem begins with a series of questions, beginning with, "Is anyone sad in the world, I wonder?" The first verse provides a sense of what it is to breathe. How can you be sad, truly, when there is so much beauty in the world? Regardless of what we endure, we each hold within us the power to view our circumstances as a dream of bliss or a nightmare of despair. In the second verse, we are given birds, which are present several times throughout this poem. Birds, of course, represent peace. And their songs hold the power in its simplicity to lift our spirits. How do you feel when you feel the wind? It will scatter your hair into all sorts of disarray some days. Others it will blow against you, with the chill of autumn finally upon us, and sting your cheeks. Yet the wind is the wind, simply existing, and your reaction to it often determines the way you view the world. In this verse, the poet is loved by the wind, because she loves the world. The third verse holds an intriguing contrast. We are viewing someone who believes that the darkest day of the world was dawning, even while the poet is opening a window to let in the light. There's a quote from Romans 13 that goes, "The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light." If we do not let the darkness into our souls, we will find a way to the light, to hope. This isn't to say we shouldn't be vigilant. This isn't even to say we should trust that everyone and everything in a given day is going to be golden. We have no control over that. We have only the control of how we react to the darkness. The thoughts of this darkness proceed into the next few verses. Yet, again with the use of birds and bees, the poet chooses to be optimistic and to see the world as worth living in, instead of one that is thick with anguish. Following after, we are presented with more interpretations of the negative side of the coin of life, because, like anything that is one certain way, there is an opposite. Yet my thought of death is this: with his shining sickle, he may be said in this verse to gather all that's bright and fair. Yet he gathers the opposite as well. He gathers those who are miserable and merciless. So regardless of whether you curse the darkness or welcome the light, you will die. The choice you make in how you see the world will ultimately be how you leave the world. My favorite verse follows the darker ones presented in this poem. I love it so much I have to read it again because it provides me with such mirth. I told the thrush, and we laughed together, laughed till the woods were all a-ring. And he said to me, as he plumed each feather, "Well, people must croak if they cannot sing." Mother Teresa once said, "Every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love, a gift to that person, a beautiful thing." Music and laughter are both highly treasured universal languages, and this verse combines them both, which I believe is a subtle stroke of genius. The poet in this verse is laughing with birds and agreeing with a bird on his solid truth. Well, people must croak if they cannot sing. If you cannot sing the praises of daylight and find a sweet moment to laugh, your soul will croak in darkness, even as your body lives on. I hold this thought high in my heart, that not every day is good, but there is something good in every day. Some days are harder than others, but you must never, ever stop looking for something good. The last two verses have two words that I want to focus on. In one, we have the word complaining. In life, we are given a hand of cards and must learn to play the hand we are given. We can either quit because of a bad hand or continue playing until the hand becomes something we're proud of. Yet, complaining paves the way for agony, frustration, and regret, which allows darkness room to fester in your soul. If you play positive and proud, you could very well sweep the table with a pair of deuces. In the last verse, we have the word sorrows. If we believe that there is nothing beautiful about the world, or that tomorrow is a dreaded place, how can we live? How can we love? I'm not saying we can't be sad or frustrated or boiling mad. We are not emotionless blocks of stone, waiting for someone to shape us into who we're supposed to be. There is no supposed to be. We're human beings, We can be anything. What I am saying is that having a hopeful heart has never hurt anyone, and that hope is far better to swallow when you're settling down for the night than a head full of horror over what you cannot control. You have but yourself. Your reaction to the world can either break you or give you enough hope, light, and courage to saying an answer to the question of, will you fear the future? With the vibrant, oh ho, not I. Allow me now, dear listener, to pose the questions I asked you to consider earlier. What does it take to maintain, in the face of adversity, in the hours of emptiness we often feel, a sense of hope for the future? What does it take to refrain from drama, from letting the world get to you? What does it take to stand up to the world, no matter what it throws at you, and declare, I'm going to keep smiling, regardless of how you try to break me? What does it take to remain positive when those around you insist on being negative? Through her simple way of living, fully present in her poetry, I believe Ella provides us with a view of the courage it takes to be hopeful, the thirst for light to remove the drama that could disturb our inner peace, the strength it takes to smile when our problems seem to be cornering us, and the rightful fight we have to remain positive. We have the right to be positive. We have the right to be happy. And we have the right to sing. Thank you.